we're here because this is probably might have been what you've been sold and selling to the government. You can just slide on down. And is this what happens, Greg?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is what it looks like, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, man. This is what it looks like.
Easy.
We're you just get on that slide and just get your GSA schedule right there. I think it's a little more like this. So I just want to make sure we get to the real story. And Raphael, when he comes on, we'll talk about fake news and things like that another time. But this is the real story. It is not easy to get into federal government. If it was, I wouldn't have a job and you would have a lot more business. So there you have it. I'm Dave Lowe. I'm the CEO of ISI Federal. We are working to help make federal work for federal contractors, make it manageable, profitable, and consistent. That's the idea that we're after. A little bit about us. We started back in 2009. We're coming up on our 10-year anniversary in November. Over $425 million direct and indirect. We just got another $5 million added to that this month alone in federal sales, so that's awesome. We also have unmatched intelligence in the federal space, 62 million plus federal contracts and 1.2 million federal contacts with 3.1 million vendor contacts. So we pull all that information together and we can supply the best intelligence out there. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that today. Professional business development support, we're going to be talking about that as well. And dedicated sales support, we'll leave that for another day. But the objective here is to get out in front of those folks before the decisions happen. And we do it faster and cheaper than hiring on staff. And we have tools to be able to do that, including the things that you see on your right-hand side. Gov Contacts, if you just need contacts, we have those. Gov Brief, we're going to be talking about that extensively here. Quick Fuse, if you have a GSA schedule, you can use it. And GSA Direct, if you have a GSA schedule and you have products, you can do that as well. So we're going to be talking about Gov Brief a lot. We'll set you up as a subject matter expert, research the initiatives, interview you, and provide buyers to you, driving your message home and helping get you meetings. We have a success story that from just last week that's very fresh that we want to bring up. Gov Contacts, as I mentioned, if you just need contacts or need a special report and you need to know who to go after, govcontacts.us is where you want to go. GSA eBuy is Quick Fuse, QUIKFUSE.com, monitoring GSA eBuy so that you don't have to log in all the time and do that dual factor authentication, and it sends the stuff right to you. Rafael Marrero, you here yet? I don't know if he's here. When he gets back, I know he's working hard to probably rebooting his computer and all that stuff. Rafael Marrero is the CEO of Rafael Marrero and Company. They help get you socioeconomic certifications, 8A Hub Zone, service disabled, all those things, as well as state certifications with Department of Transportation certs for different states. I don't play in states, but he does. And you can reach out to him, and we have some good information coming from him as well. He actually wrote a book, which is now, it's The Secret Salsa, and it's the first and only book of its kind to help folks that are Hispanic to be able to in their language to work through the process and helping them get there. In fact, that has gotten him some good attention. Are you there, Rafael?
I am. Can you hear me now?
Fine. There he is, man. Well,
all right.
He did. So
man, I thought the Russians hacked my computer.
That's oh man, the Russians hacked his computer. So yeah, and I was just talking about this. You can say this in Spanish for us because I can't.
Sure, it's La Salsa Secreta del Tío Sam.
There you go. And that is selling to Uncle Sam. I even got that part. And in fact, you and I are going to be somewhere next week, which is Tuesday, June 18th. What are we doing up there with the Gringo Loco?
That's right. I'm bringing my token gringo to the Hispanic conference. I got me one of those. So we're going to be keynoting at the Closing the Gap conference, which is all about supplier diversity. And there's going to be a private reception with the chairman of the United States Hispanic, the Greater Philadelphia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And the following day, we're going to have an all-day event where we're going to have the keynote speech and then breakout sessions. Yeah. And we're going to spend the whole day with diverse suppliers coming in to learn more about supplier diversity and how to get more involved.
That's right. And
Yep.
and the fact of the matter is, you don't have to be Hispanic to get into the federal government, right?
Well, you're proof.
That's it. I am proof. I'm living proof. Oh, that's too funny. Jamie is literally in Tornado Alley. He's in Dayton, Ohio. He's usually here. I don't know if he's making it or not. They cut off they did a transition in power, and they did the cutoff. But the problem is everybody's retooled to help people that were hit by the tornado a week ago, and he doesn't have any power. So if you need a GSA schedule or you need GSA schedule management, this is Jamie Zell, and if he pops in, that's great. If he can't pop in, we understand that we can't control those things. We have all kind of hacking going on, right, Raphael?
All kinds. Hey, let me point out that Jamie Zell kind of looks like Gerard Depardieu. So those are short somewhat. He looks just like him. Look at that picture. Right?
Oh, glory. Anyway, if you would like to meet this guy, you can reach out to Jamie. Great guy. Been working with him for even longer than I've been in business. We've been talking when we were even before that. And with us on the phone, we have Greg Clark from DKA Associates. How you doing?
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Doing good, man. So we're going to be relying on you because you're the proposal writer, and you also help with GSA schedules and other vehicles. But we're going to talk about some of the things. Number one, success stories. I know you got one coming up, and also some of the takeaways for today. We're going to give everybody takeaways for today. Peter Timbus, are you here? I don't think Peter made it today. Let me just check and make sure, just in case we have some other things. If you need funding for a contract, that means if you win a federal contract or any contract, but usually federal, you can reach out to Peter. And we know that sometimes if you're a $1 million company and you win a $10 million contract, Raphael, that can be problematic, right?
It can be. The ramp up at first can be daunting, and I know that in Peter's case, he specifically has helped clients that I've sent his way. Yep. There's a case of Kathy Porter, if I may, just for a second. Yeah. Kathy Porter is a veteran-owned small business, very nice lady out of state of Florida, and she's actually a supplier diversity practitioner herself, and just published a book to which I contributed called Implementing Supplier Diversity, and she won her first contract, which was a $1.5 million 3-year contract, and she didn't have the funding to cover the payroll. I called Peter, referred this lady, and he took care of her. I mean, he was Johnny on the spot. So I'd like to go on the record and say he did a great job for my client.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. And that's why we have, and Peter shows up sometimes, and that's the way we are here, man. If you show up, that's great. If not, we give you props even if you don't show up. So if you need contract funding or small business funding too, but they understand the federal world, right? So that's the thing, because banks don't. I'm just saying.
No, they don't. They don't.
And Liz, I don't think Liz DeRosa is with us either. They help with compliance. They have a newsletter for compliance and cyber and law. If you'd like to learn more about that, you can reach out to PubK News. They do a lot of work both with federal folks, with lawyers in the federal government, as well as folks that are contracting with the federal government. So if you need some compliance information, Liz is the lady, and she wears nice sunglasses too. Mm-hmm. And Kyle is not with us either, but she is also somebody else that can help with funding. Did the same thing with some of my clients, tossed them over the fence, funding within 24, 48 hours. So she's Johnny on the spot as well. And they serve different markets, so they may walk on each other a little bit, but the most important thing is you have access to people that can really operate. So about this webinar, it's every second Tuesday except for today, which at 11 a.m. Yesterday I had a great meeting, by the way. I'm not going to talk about that, but getting dialogue with federal experts like Raphael, like Jamie, like Greg, like Peter, anybody that's operating in this space. Our objective is to help connect you with those dots, but we get real about how things work, because you can't just slide yourself into millions of dollars in this world. It just doesn't happen. We'll talk about winning strategies, tactics, and we'll show off a little bit because we have some success stories today, especially, and you already said one, and so you're already ahead of the game, Raphael. So the question that I have before we started, we will have some polls as we go on here, and hopefully this doesn't lock me up today because it did last time. Let's give it a shot and see if it doesn't. So are you new to the federal space and looking for information? Do you have federal business and want to grow? Do you need to help finding buyers for products and services? What about marketing your company to the federal? You can choose as many as you want. And some nut sent me an email, and somebody, we already got people voting on that one, so appreciate that very much. I wonder who that nut is. Awesome. So we'll give you another 10 seconds. We're going to keep this tight. We got a lot to do today, and I want to do my best to get out of here because Adam McDermott. Adam, where are you out of today? You're out in, where'd you say you were? Bulgaria. Bulgaria. Our producer is in Bulgaria, of all places. Isn't it great? All right, so give 4, 3, 2, 1. You can do it. I promise. 1, 0, and boom. We got 70% of the people to actually pay attention. All the rest of you, you don't get included in this. So there you go. So that's what we're up against today. A lot of folks here new into the market. That's great, right, Raphael?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because if you're here, you're going to hear things you're not going to hear anywhere else. I guarantee you that. Guarantee you. So today, what we're going to do with this particular session is we're going to talk. I'll give you the briefing controls, but we're going to be talking about the last 100 days. We are in crunch time. Why, Rafael Marrero, are we in crunch time?
Because it's use it or lose it, baby. It's end of year and the money's there.
That's right. And we're talking about success stories of how you can get to these decision makers before it's too late. Because guess what? It's almost too late. It is almost too late. September 30th. It's not December 31st. It's September 30th. So we got to get in front of these decision makers before then. And I'm not talking about that. I have no idea what that is. All right. So here's a disclaimer. If anybody's here from the government, I don't know if you are or not, because we do have folks that come in, love to get interchange with the government. We invite them all the time. But this is not associated with GSA or any other agency. It's provided for informational purposes only. And if they decide to participate, it's not saying they're going to buy from you or me or endorsement of any of us. Got it, everybody? We good? All right, now we can move on. All right, if you like the way Raphael is looking in front of his now working audio and video, if you like that, you can make him bigger and you can just stretch that thing. You can get larger, or you can do death by PowerPoint if you really like it, but we don't do that here, do we, Raphael?
No, we don't. We have a special version.
That's right. Yeah, we have special. All right. So you can also open the panel. And on that panel, there are handouts that you can download. I don't think we have a workbook this week, but we do have handouts for you with some information, including one of the pieces that we're going to be reviewing, which is the Winnability Opportunity Matrix. If you have questions, you can also chat them in there. If you called in on the phone, and we have several people who did, make sure you do the pound, whatever that number is, pound, so we can unmute you. And if you'd like to be included, there's a little hand there as well. It's not, don't have the arrow pointed to it, but right down there is a hand that has an arrow on it. You can raise your hand and we can unmute you and we can have dialogue, whether you did it on the phone or whether you did it or you called in on the using your computer audio. So it is the last 100 days, and as you mentioned, Raphael, we were down to the last 111. Okay, 111 days. That's as of today. So the strategy, though, is what we're talking about in the last 100 days. And the fact of the matter is, if you don't get in front of those decision makers now, you will fall behind the competition again. If you're new to this space, this is pay dirt time. Everything happens in September. I say everything. 80% of all the spending happens in September, and certainly between July and September. Getting in there and churning that up. Most of the recompetes are happening as well, the 5-year deals that are recompeted. And so my question to you, if you happen to know, what is one relationship worth to you? If you have a federal relationship, just one person. Now, this could be repeat business. So it's a person. Think about the person, not just an opportunity, but think about the business that can come from one single federal relationship. If you're small dollar items, it could be $5,000 to $10,000. But most folks are not in that range, but that's okay. Go let me know. A lot of folks over $500,000. Love it, love it, love it. Let's keep talking. We got some lower level. It's okay to be lower level too. It's all right because you can do repeat business a lot using credit cards for less than $10,000 now, right, Raphael?
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Micro purchases all day long.
Micro purchases all day long and every month, baby. All right. So with that, another 3, 2, 1. You can do it. You can do it. And boom, here's where everybody is. So we have some folks that are micro purchase land. Fantastic. There's strategies for you. Anybody from $10,000 to $50,000, there's strategies for you as well. Most people are in the $100,000 to $500,000 and several over $500,000. That is what I'm talking about when we start talking about what one federal relationship is worth. So that is the topic of today, is getting in front of those people. And the first thing we have to do, if you're monitoring, if you're going to hear, we put everything on FBO. Is it true that they post everything on FBO, Greg?
Just about, but no.
No, you know it's not true. Even though you're the man on FBO. I love, that's why Greg's here, by the way. If you're doing stuff on FBO, you got to talk to Greg, and we'll tell you why. But we're going to change your mindset from opportunities. Stop chasing those opportunities. Certainly stop chasing them after they hit the street. Because if you don't get in front of that, what's the matter, Raphael?
You're going to be bidding cold. You're going to be behind the ball. You're not going to win.
What is the Hispanic version for too late?
It's called mañana.
Oh man, if you came here for something normal, you're in the wrong place. All right, absolutely. Opportunities come from people, and what does this mean? Winnable opportunities come from people who know, like, and trust us. Is this anything new? This is nothing new. So the question is, how do we get to those people? So in there, in your downloads, you have the winnable opportunity matrix. This is something we do with our clients on an opportunity basis. But what we want to do is we want to start talking about getting ahead of those opportunities, getting to know things before 60 days, and knowing the budget, if not even setting the budget. Maybe we can help set that budget, and injecting ourselves into the scope of work or the certifications that they're looking for. These are the types of things that we want to do, and all do this beforehand so we can minimize the number of competitors. Because if we're in on this, you'll find it's incredible. You'll find 80% of the work is shortlisted between 5 competitors or less. And I got a classic case study in just a minute. And then when we get into September, that 30 days shrinks down to 24 hours. Years ago, we did something with the Department of State, came out on a Sunday at 11 a.m. If you don't think they're working weekends, folks, you're wrong. Guess what? 11 a.m., 24 hours. It was September 29th. What does that mean, Rafael Marrero? Is it going to get delayed?
They're gonna make it happen. They're gonna want to spend. They're gonna want to spend that money.
24 hours. That means that it's due Monday morning at 11 a.m. If you're not in front of that, ain't no way you're responding to that, baby. And guess what? That was over 200 grand. Just saying. So what we need to do is we need to get to decision makers with budget. Everybody else wants to send you into this rat race or a hamster wheel where you're just sitting there doing your thing. We don't want to be there, because that's a waste of time. I don't want you to waste your time. We don't waste our time. And we want to be in front of those key decision makers. And if we're going to do that, we better understand what their roles are, what their needs are, and what their buying motives are. Because if we don't, we're going to sell to the wrong person. And I'm going through this quick because we have some success stories that lead us right down this path. We're going to use this today all day. Contracting officers, your job is to make it easy for them. Clear, concise capabilities. How important is that? And your SAM update, Rafael Marrero.
It's everything, because that's going to be their first impression of you. And if your information does not show up strong and show up accurately, you may not get considered for a specific opportunity because you may have the wrong NAICS code. You may not. It may not be considered a competency of yours. It may be perceived that you're simply overreaching, right? That you're not. This is not in your core strengths.
And preferred contract vehicles. Hey, while you're here, Greg, does everybody buy off of GSA schedules?
No.
No, because there's other schedules, and there's different contracting vehicles. So sometimes they have a preferred. In fact, I would venture to say that almost all of these people have a preferred contracting vehicle, maybe an IDIQ that they're mandated to purchase off of.
Well, they're all control freaks. So instead of this agency wanting to use GSA schedule, they're going to say, no, screw it. We're going to make our own schedule, our own contract vehicle, and have our own criteria and make our own decisions on who's on it.
That's right.
Well, and then the other thing is that the terms and conditions vary, and they're trying to standardize that right now with the GSA schedules,
Yeah.
right? So it's pretty difficult when a client agency wants, to have its own set of rules and terms and conditions to adopt someone else's schedule, and so that's why they come up with their own blanket purchase agreements in the first place, their BPAs.
And everybody thinks they're special, right?
Oh yeah, just like yeah, exactly.
They want to do it. Love that, Greg. They want to do it their own way. So the next people that are on this list are program managers or project managers, and they are the ones that come up with the requirements. And so what we want to do is, one, know what they do, know what they need, understand your best practices and how they apply, and those innovative solutions that can help them solve their problem and give them success with similar situations. And we're going to talk about past performance, because past performance is pretty doggone important, isn't it, Greg?
Absolutely. It's everything.
Absolutely.
Experience and capabilities is all you are.
Experience and capabilities. That's it. That's right. And I get flashbacks of you're nothing but a what is from Untouchables and a badge. What's a talking badge? I don't know what it is. Anyway, what we can do though, and I love this. I was at a customer engagement or citizen engagement thing yesterday, and understanding who we're talking to and listening to them, we want to talk them up to their bosses. And if we do this right, we probably came down from their bosses. So, being able to pursue them. So you can talk them up to their bosses and show them that you can finish strong. Show them that you have the capabilities. You have it. Nothing but a lot of talking a badge. That's what it was. Anyway, so that's live for you. So technical representatives, these are the people they're in the food chain of the program managers. So they're on the program side of the house, but they help with government standards and identifying similar purchases and certifications is where you play a role, Raphael. If you have those certifications, ISO or small business or woman-owned or things like that. But usually you're talking about your qualification certifications here.
Right.
Assistant mandatory requirements. So what can we do? We can help them with the mandatory requirements, talk them up to the PM, make them look good, and be their go-to resource for knowledge. And this is an important thing. We're going to hit this square on in being their resource for knowledge. Same thing for the program people as well. Administrators, these are the folks that are way up there. They could be political appointees. They could be senior level bureaucrats, SESs. And don't think of bureaucrats as a bad word necessarily. It's just people that are running. They're in the business of running the government. And they've been there for sometimes decades. So they're very experienced in getting things done in the government. But what we want to do is we want to make sure we understand what they're up against, because they're responsible for driving the agency initiatives and policies and things like that. And they're in charge of enterprise-wide solutions. So if you have an enterprise solution, these are the people that you're going to have to woo and top dogs. All right. So one thing that we love to do is sell to the ego. It's very easy to do and buttering people up. And the biggest ask for them, because you're really going to be working with program managers, ask them for political cover. And, go back to them and say, who's going to get their ox gored if we miss this, if we win this thing? Because if we steal this from somebody else, we're stealing it from somebody who already has the business, then what's that look like? So we want to make sure that we make them look good. And most importantly, keep them off of CNN. CNN is not your friend when it comes to being a government agency. I was talking with VA yesterday extensively about this, because they get black eyes and bruises and poked in the eye all the time. So let me ask you this. Would it be beneficial for you to schedule a strategy session to talk about how you can do this in your company? So if you want to do one on site, we can talk about that. We can talk about when we could be there. That could be you and me, Raphael. It could be all three of us. Could be whatever it happens to be. But online this week, online next week, this is the time to be jumping on things. If you happen to want to go through that winnability opportunity matrix and getting in front, understanding these people. This is a great way to do it. We can do it in a shorter session, but we can schedule that and make that work for you. We're going to give you another 5, 4. Not everybody has to vote, but if you do vote, vote. 3, 2, 1, and Another couple seconds. You can do it. I promise. If you want a strategy session, that is. All right. And this is what it looks like so far. 25% want to do on site. So Raphael we'll be in touch with you for this, because this is timely, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if anybody else didn't get in there and you want a strategy session, just let us know. Now we're going to start talking about some success stories. And Raphael, I'm going to start with you. And you can tell us a little bit about Abel Herrera. Tell us about Abel and what he does.
Sure. Abel Herrera, or Abel, as we say in Spanish, right?
Abel.
Yeah. We call him ready, willing, and able, right? So that's Abel. Abel's an IT, right, or Abel. Abel's an IT guy. He specializes in analytics. Super sharp. We met a couple of years back, and then something very interesting happens, right? So he got started in 2005. He's been kind of like a traveling consultant, Hispanic-owned small business, data analytics and business intelligence. Very hardworking guy, and then got into the 8A program, got certified, and he contacted us in February 2018, like literally 3 weeks before we went to the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Legislative Summit. And I said, okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to the Men's Warehouse. You're going to get a suit. You're going to get a haircut. We're going to redo your capability statements and your business cards. We're going to get you procurement contract ready, and I'm going to set up some appointments in Washington.
We need you know what you need here? We need a before and after picture.
We did.
Because
so right now,
Mr. Clean about
well,
right
now he looks like Andy Garcia's twin brother, right? You know, so so he attended the he joined us, which was in record time. He attended the Legislative Summit 2018 matchmaking. We made some, and it wasn't just about the matchmaking. I need to clarify that, right?
Yeah, really.
We started thoroughly
because the matchmaking is
well, what you do is you get a magnet and a website to go to when you go to these things, right? But what happened there is we started a relationship, which speaks to what you do, Dave. And then he followed up and throughout the year, and then he also attended the USHCC the convention in Philly, which you were present. And so just January of this year, he won his first multi-year federal contract with the Federal Reserve Board, which is one of the organizations that was invited to attend the convention, and that one that we cultivated. So he won that contract, and it was a lot of hard work, and kudos to him. So we're very proud of him. And
he did a great job. And Andy, Abel is good. I mean, he shows well and comes across great, and is really starting to tailor his world. And you rebranded him. You got him the website, business cards, capability statement, and we call this being contract ready, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Because if you're not contract ready, and a lot of folks, even some folks here, I know because of all the people that are on here, somebody's SAM registration is not live. It's not active.
Right.
And if the contracting officer goes and sees you don't have an active SAM record, you're out of the pool right away. So
that's right.
So you did a great job. Awesome. And that kind of a contract can be worth millions of dollars, tens of millions in some instances.
Absolutely. Yep.
And this pitch, the reason why I want to draw this back into the winnable opportunity matrix is this is building relationships with contracting officers, talking about what is their preferred contract vehicle. He's 8A, which means what? What does that mean?
Means he can get set aside or sole source contracts. And they can give him up to $4 million a year sole source contracts, and he can have, that's right, 3 of those in 2 years. You can qualify for up to 3.
That's right. That's 12 mil from one
right.
one source. So when you start talking about what's one federal contracting person worth, it's millions potentially, right? So getting back to what we talked about earlier, but what we want to do is we want to help them do that. This is a contracting officer. That's the pitch there. So here's another success story. And if you have a success story, raise your hand, because we want to unmute you too. We don't just want to share our success stories. We want to hear yours. So if you have success stories, we had Tony here a couple months ago who just rocked it. Not only that, let me just say this. Tony and I, he's a service disabled vet, and Tony and I are working with a Fortune 4 company that we are working to get exactly what we're going to be talking about here out into the marketplace. In this instance, this is Hanscom Consulting. They're located here in just outside of DC in Alexandria. Highly capable contractor. They've done a lot of work in the federal space, a lot of stuff for sub to prime. They got their GSA in 2017. Took them over a year to get it, which is why it's always beneficial to talk to somebody like Jamie or Greg. And 0 GSA sales. What happens if you do 0 GSA sales, Greg?
Yeah, you're gone. You're gonna get a nasty letter asking you why, and if you don't have a good reason, then you're that year that you took cutting on there is wasted.
That's right. And this is coming up on 2 years, and you must reach $25,000. If you don't reach $25,000, the GSA says that's a categorical failure. So do I. So should you. And you must maintain that $25,000 every year thereafter. So the first time they give you 2 years. That's why I want to go right back to that pushing the rock up the hill. They know that it's not easy to do because $25,000, number one, not that much chuck. Number two, 2 years, long period of time. But if that doesn't help you start to reframe your mindset on what you're up against in the federal government, then you're buying somebody else's answer that you're going to slide right into the money. We're not going to do that here. We're going to tell you what the truth is. So what happened? So they attended the Saving Your GSA from Cancellation session that we did, and we put right out there how we give you how to save it, how to what you can do. We got the extension, and the first thing we did is after that is I got together with him for lunch, and he's like, well, what else can you do? And I said, well, what we can do is we can develop a plan. And they actually, they signed up for more than this. They signed up for an annual plan, but this is the first 60 days. I want to talk about 60 days because that's all we want to talk about right now. But we did a 60-day action plan. First thing we have to do is find the key decision makers, and we use our intelligence. I told you we had unmatched intelligence. Do we have unmatched intelligence, Rafael Marrero?
Absolutely, bar none, the best.
That's right.
Got better intel than the intel community.
Except for except for the people that are monitoring us right now.
Right, exactly.
Besides the 3-letter agencies, we have the
right. Right.
And what we did is we said, okay, these guys are GSA schedule holders. So let's look at what the GSA schedule holders are doing in the marketplace, but we don't stop there. We look at other places where we call feeders. So the main market, GSA. Makes sense, right? So then the other part, though, is we want to look at other feeders into this. So we looked at other schedules. We looked at if you have an office, you have office supply, that's a Schedule 75. Kind of a weirdo thing, kind of a big target, but we know that you have an office, facilities, inspections, trades, real estate. If you don't have real estate, you probably don't have an office, right? But if you start tracking these things and you start seeing who's swimming in the pool, not just in the limited pool that we're talking about with GSA, but the global pool, we can come up with a better understanding of the market, and we have a bigger tree to shake to see who drops out. But let's just talk about the GSA people. This, oh, by the way, is 2 years plus current. So it's about 2.5 years. When we do these, we do 2 years plus current. We look at 5-year trends. But this particular one, we want the active people. Bam. We want people that are playing in our space right now. Mm-hmm. This is a $70 billion market, Rafael Marrero. Is that enough money?
There's a lot of cheese there.
Lots of cheese. Mm-hmm. So that's why we go after this. But let's talk about this a little bit closer. 123,000 contracts that are going to 409 companies that happen to be GSA schedule holders. Now, I will say this. The dollars that you're seeing there are global federal dollars, not just GSA, because about 25% may flow through their GSA schedule, sometimes less. But the idea is I don't really care. I want to know where it is. I want to know what companies are winning, and I want to know how many competitors there. Guess what? In this market, 76% have 5 or less competitors on all of those contracts. So 76% of those are shortlisted. And look at the one that's not reported. What is that about? I don't know. It's how they play. What we want to do is we want to get, and the little orange slice, is that orange, by the way? What color is that? I'm colorblind.
Looks orange.
It's orange. Good guess, Dave. Anyway, that piece of the pie, for the record, is where you'll find most of FBO stuff. Just saying. Greg. All right, so we have 6,189 unique buyers between these two because there's some overlap. So what do? We take a look and say, oh, what is it? One of these buyers worth? What one contract on average is $500,000 or so. Not bad. And these are the people that are after them. So one federal relationship in this instance is worth $500,000. 60-day plan. Once we find out who the decision makers are, now we need to get in front of them. And the way we do this is we use GovBrief. We push the message out, and we have 6,189 invites. We have the top 250 that we've targeted, and we phone call them and say, hey, you got to come. Please come to the briefing. Please come to the briefing. 1,718 of this 6,189 clicked. And we happen to know that. And we have 189 responses, which means that we have now distilled 6,189 folks in the marketplace and identified 189 folks that are interested, at least interested enough to dialogue. Make sense, Rafael?
It's a very focused approach. That's the way to do it.
And guess what happens throughout the course of this? What we're finding out is 189 people, this is starting to hit their radar. It may not hit the rest 6,189 for 3 months or 2 months. But the fact of the matter is we're building the brand so that Hanscom can be out in front of those folks. So what happens? After that, we create the pitch, we make the pitch, we get in front of those decision makers and deliver the pitch. The experts, even if they don't show up, they're starting to know that these folks are experts in their field. We want to educate them on what's happening, give them best practices, and start that connection process. And guess what? It happens online just like this, where you see people's faces. You get much more reaction when people are talking and you can see their face. And that's exactly what happened. In fact, I got this right after. It said, Dave got a call from DOL right after the briefing they attended. They want to see how they can get to us for claims work. Very exciting. And guess what? They spoke to the PM and the technical representative. Our job is to drive these people into the green. And now we have 2 contacts, 2 connections that we did not know until we started the process. And as a result, we've also known about it beforehand. We also are driving the number of competitors down because we want to run it through the GSA schedule. And we have a success story that we get to be able to, this was last week, guys. This is last week. And if you don't think that contracting officers and program people and technical representatives will talk to you, I'm telling you, they will. They will not do it if you follow the rat race. If you follow what everybody says, well, talk on the lower and work your way up. No way. We want to go right after them. We want to get to them. We want to be in their face, and we want to repeat this. This success is repeatable. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you sell. If we can set you up as a subject matter expert, we can get you in front of thousands of decision makers, get you your expert status, and get 25 plus follow-up meetings, starting those new relationships. Maybe one will drop right away. Maybe it takes 6, 8, 10, 18 months. That may be the sales cycle for what you know your sales cycle. Whatever your sales cycle is with the federal government, I would double it. Wouldn't you say that, Rafael?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yep.
So in with that, that is a success story that I wanted to share today. It is crazy cool. We do this all the time, and we have dozens of briefings coming up that we're doing exactly that, and we're targeting to the market that's happening there. All right, so that's my success story. Let's talk about what it takes for you. We'll talk about how you can get yourself ready for that in just a minute. But let's talk about getting contract ready. Talk about what they need to do with SAM.gov. Number one, make it active, right? Make sure it's active.
Absolutely, and then show up strong, Dave. For Christ's sake, I mean, there are people that don't have a website that the contracting officer can click on a URL to take them there. And here's another thing: they don't have the right portion of their website referenced in their SAM registration, which is very important. Also in the dynamic small business search portion, this is where you need to have your government landing page point to. The capability statements, they think it's a 20-page document. It's not. It's a concise 8.5 by 11 PDF document, preferably, that addresses the 6 C's. If you don't know what those are, give us a call. We'll be glad to help you. And then other marketing materials, things as basic as having the right type of contractor business cards with your relevant codes and a one-liner of what you offer to the contracting officers. These are some of the things that we cover with clients when they call us for that free one-on-one consultation that we offered up at the beginning of the show.
What's that word that you used? Free?
Free.
That's
1 hour.
4-letter word.
Free one. It's free, and you don't have to sign your life away.
That's right.
Yep, we'll consult with you. We'll tell you exactly. We'll take a look at your collateral right now and tell you some of the points that we'd like to improve as part of our corrective action plan.
And I love the idea that you do it on a the whole marketing side. So your government-centric landing page, very important, having a tab, but driving everybody there that's from the government there, because they don't want to know about profitability and how you handle customers. They want to know how you handle federal people.
That's right.
Federal people.
That's right.
So absolutely great advice. Number one, get your SAM record adjusted. And it's not hard. It needs to be concise. Otherwise, like you said, first impressions, they really do matter. They really do.
They really do. Dave,
and your capability statement's got to be glass. It's got to be good. And
it's got to be rock solid.
Yeah, it has to be rock solid. So I agree with that. So, Mr. Greg, tell us about getting opportunity ready, because no matter what, let's say that we're just talking about a success story. We're in front of that. That's going to turn into an opportunity, but we better doggone be ready for that opportunity when it hits. Otherwise, we still got to respond to it when it hits. It may come out through GSA eBuy. It may come out shortlisted, but even so, you still got to respond, right?
Right, absolutely. And when we talk with people who just call up and say, I want to get into government contract, that's the call that you want to make. I mean, because nobody wakes up in the morning and say, you know what, let's buy a house today.
Yeah.
If you decide, you know what, we want to buy a house, it's going to be down the road a little bit. So you talk to a realtor, you talk to your bank, you figure out what do you need to do to get ready to buy a house, and what do you need to do to get ready. Exactly, get everything ready. And what if things aren't ready, you need to be able to identify them, or have people identify what's not ready for you, so you can get those things ready, so that you're ready to buy a house or win a contract when that time comes. So call me now and find out. Talk about your experience and your capabilities. What have you done? What haven't you done? Where are you? What's your geographic boundaries? Have you identified agencies to target? What federal presence is in your area? All these things to determine as you're kind of plotting a strategy and a map, and how are we going to attack the federal government? It's a big thing, and how are we going to attack it? What's our path in? And there's all these things that we need to do. And the first thing I would tell people is, your past performance. What have you done in the last 3, 4, 5 years? 3 years. Okay, thanks for the prompt. What have you done in the last 3 years? What was the work? Who was the customer? What was the value? What was the performance period? Those are the things that every solicitation will ask for.
That's exactly right. And you need to have that kind of pre-assembled, because you want to spend your time on the technical response, not going through and building up your past performance that you can do now. If the RFP doesn't hit the street,
your past performance will dictate what you can pursue.
And there you go. And that goes to your capabilities assessments and what is a good fit with you, right? So there's stuff that's going to be hitting. It can come out on FBO, it can come out on eBuy, it can come out through some other mechanism. But at the end of the day, those capabilities need to hit on the mark, or at least know where your gaps are so that you can pursue a potential partner, right?
Right, and if you then want to strategize, well, then who am I going to sell to? Well, you can go to FitBizOps and search for that NAICS code and see who's been buying it in the last year, and say, well, and then call them up and say, hey, I see you bought this. Are you going to be buying this again?
Imagine that.
So there's a lot that can be done even if you're not ready yet. That'll get you ready or speed up when you're going to be ready.
And you can ask questions of the contracting. You can even ask questions of the program people until it hits the street. Once it hits the street, you can't talk to the program people. You can only talk to the contracting officer. But you can ask them for specific information before. Where's the original solicitation? How's it? And you can ask the question of how the incumbent's doing, and most of the time they're not going to tell you.
Well, don't ask it in writing.
What's that?
You want that question over the phone, not in writing, because they're not.
Good advice. Which means that you got to talk to them personally, right? So the idea, or even better, face to face, because there's a lot of body language that you can read where you can say, they're doing very well.
And also, as we've talked about before, the solicitation may dictate how well they're doing by what the past performance requirements are for the new solicitation.
That's right.
If they're saying, if you can read it and say, wow, they're really opening us up to a bunch of new companies, maybe they're not happy with them, or this past performance is pretty specific. It looks like the incumbent's probably the only one that has this past performance. Maybe this isn't the right way to spend your resources.
I couldn't agree more. And getting to a no is good, fast. Quick no, good.
Absolutely.
Bid, no bid. Right.
Absolutely. If there's something that's going to prevent you from winning a contract, you want to find that out as soon as possible. And you do that by evaluating the performance requirements, the proposal requirements, and the evaluation criteria.
Exactly. And spoken by somebody who knows a little bit about responding to those bids, because you have won how many? See, this is where it really drives me nuts, because I'm at 425 million. And where are you?
We've been in business. August will be 24 years. So we formed in 1995. 3 of us formed the company. There's 6 of us now, and we've helped our clients win 346 federal contracts. And last year, the combined value went over 1.6 billion. And then we've also helped 389 companies get on the. We've also helped 389 companies get on the GSA schedule of zero denials. So those are our 2 primary service areas, and everything else we do is in support of those 2 areas. And
absolutely,
we had somebody a couple of years ago that we helped get on the schedule, and then last year identified an opportunity that, based upon the process of going through the schedule process and learning about their experience and capabilities, we have we develop a very good understanding of them, and we identified an opportunity on FedBizOpps. The synopsis came out, said this is perfect for you, this is what you do and where you do it, and submitted a proposal, and it was for long-term lodging in DC, and for State Department trainees. It was a multiple award contract. They made 3 awards. It was estimated to be $200 million over 5 years. And our client received one of the awards, and in their first month, they billed for $500,000.
That's a beautiful thing. $500,000 a month. That's nice. Awesome. Well, and again, success story all over again. So you got a 2-for-1. So did Raphael, by the way. Raphael got a 2-for-1.
A 2-for.
So if you have any questions on this, you can raise your hand. You can text it in there. Let us know, because we want to help you get to where you want to go. Obviously, we're in the business of helping you. But before we even start exchanging money, what we want to do is help you get to where you want to go. So if you have any questions, reach out. One of the questions is the presentation being recorded? Yes, we record it, and you can watch it over and over again if you want to. We'll have the PowerPoint as part of a follow-up email that'll go out, so you're welcome to do that. And nobody's asking any questions, so we either put everybody to sleep, or I'm not gonna fake my way through any questions. If you don't have any, let me. But if you do have one, if you want to raise your hand, we will absolutely get to you. Otherwise, we're gonna keep on moving, because we got $290 billion in the next 111 days. I said it before. I'm gonna say it again, because if you're not in front of these people, if you're not getting in front of these folks, how important is it to get in front of these folks, Raphael?
It's fundamental. It's huge. I mean, it's the most important thing.
You just got to do it. You got to get in front of those folks. And
I'll jump in here, Dave. I mean, you can do it our way, which is the hard way, or do it your way, which is the easy way. So if you miss out, if you miss out on an opportunity, going through the back door with you, then we'll wait for it to come on FedBiz Ops, and if we got a chance, we'll fight our way through it and give it a shot.
And that's exactly right. And the beautiful thing about what you do is you help identify quickly. I mean, I throw stuff over the fence to you all the time, and 9 times out of 10, it's like, well, I probably shouldn't do this because
exactly
you don't have a chance.
It's not that we don't want to work with people. We want to work with everybody, but it's got to be the right opportunity. If you're not going to win the contract, let's show the company why, so that they can learn to help evaluate their own opportunities moving forward and find the things that are going to prevent them from winning contracts.
Exactly. And I wouldn't say it's the easy way. Just saying. Because we got to get to these folks. And getting to people to respond is not easy. But we do need to get there before. And I agree with you, Greg, and I appreciate the props on that. We need a plan in the next 60 days to get to these decision makers before the requirement comes out. And just like we started talking about with Hanscom, and we did last week with the construction auditing, it doesn't matter what you guys do. We can find and reach thousands of decision makers, get the brand building started, obtain expert status, whether they show up or not. But if they do show up, you get to show yourself off, and you have 25 plus follow-up meetings. And I can tell you this, even if only 10 people show up, you're still going to get 25 follow-up meetings, because we're not paying attention to just the people that show up. We're talking about all the people that shake out of your tree, so that you can start those new relationships and get in front of those folks. So you are ready to move. If you're ready to move, what are you ready to move on? I'm ready to find me decision makers and get me in front of them. That's the GovBrief platform. That's the 60-day plan that we were just talking about. Do you need to get, you can choose as many as you want, by the way. Do you need to get procurement/contract ready? Do you need to get bid ready? Do you need to get opportunity ready? With Greg, this is very simple. This is what you can do in the next 60 days. You're not going to get a GSA schedule in the next 60 days, most likely, right, guys?
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. It's going to take too long to get your GSA schedule, so you're behind the 8 ball. You need to get out in front of these folks before. And if you need something else, let me know. But the objective is we have got to get moving, because time is out. The last briefing that we do, ladies and gentlemen, is August 15th. That's the last one that we do, because they disappear. They're disappearing now. From here on through the end of June, you lose about 20%. You lose about 40% in July. You lose 60% in August. And by August 15th, it's too late. We can't go out after them. So with that, I'm going to give you 5, 4, 3. If you want to do something, now's the time. 2, 1, and boom. So here's what we got, folks. 67% of the people need to get in front of the decision makers. Some, we will be in touch with you for sure and get you procurement ready. That's on you, Raphael. We're gonna connect with Raphael for that. And the other 33% that need to get bid ready, we're gonna get those over to you as well. And if there's something else, we'll believe me, this is happening today. We're going to be in touch today, and we're going to get you where you want to go, because that is what we need to do. If you have any additional questions, anybody want to pop up your hand or ask a question? Otherwise, we are going to close this out, because we're coming up on the end of the hour. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Otherwise, I want to point you out to, if you need funding, go to Kyle@betterfin.com, BETTERFIN.com. You can reach out there. They do startup funding all the way through SBA. They've helped my clients. They've helped a ton of other people. They can connect with multiple funding sources. If you have a contract that you need to fund, if you want a contract, or if you need to look right on a proposal that you can fund a contract, you need to talk to Peter. Peter's an expert in this. You can reach out to him. Raphael, you gave him a shout out earlier, and It's TFN@actioncapital.com. TFN@actioncapital.com. If you need a GSA schedule, you can get in touch with Jamie Zell at jamie@gsalogic.net. And I will say this, that if you have a GSA schedule and it's not up to date, very important to get that up to date, especially if you're going to start marketing it. You got to get that up to date. If you need some changes, because that takes time. There's nothing about that doesn't take time. If you got one, you know what I'm talking about. So that's the idea. Get in touch with Jamie. He can help out there. And Greg Clark, here's his information. If you want to get bid ready, get that before it starts hitting the street. Talk to Greg. Good grief. Start talking to him, because you'll get your package together. He'll walk you through it and help you get prepared for that response. Right, Greg?
I think all three of us have things to offer everybody here.
Yeah. We want to do it for the people that are ready to do it, right? You'll tell them whether they're ready, right?
Absolutely.
And so will you, Rafael Marrero, won't you?
Absolutely. And I'll do it with my sexy blue glasses. We're here to serve you.
For those of you who are new, we've been talking about those sexy blue glasses for years.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Dave, they're sexier than you think. They're actually purple.
What?
They're branded like my firm. If you look at our colors, we have custom colors for our seats.
My mistake.
All right, smarty pants. Man, I'm colorblind. You can't jack me around like that. Everything looks blue to me. Oh, good grief. All right. So, but you got your sexy blue glasses, but that's not why you hire Rafael Marrero. I can tell you, he just knows how to get things set up, get you ready, procurement ready, contract ready, get your socioeconomic certifications. You'd be amazed at how many people can get socioeconomic certifications that they didn't think they could get, right, Rafael?
Absolutely. And here's the thing, Dave, we approach everything from a vendor risk management perspective, because as some of you may or may not know, I was actually a C-level executive for a large publicly traded company, and I handle vendor management and supplier management. And yes,
may or may not resemble a fruit.
So I know a thing or two about vendor management and supplier management, and I approach it from that perspective.
Yeah.
See which would be attractive prospects for the government, and we help you package yourself to present the best first impression.
And that is so true. And then those are the tools that we take. If you have contract vehicles, if you have certifications, your capabilities, all those things that are packaged, these are all tools. And then we take those tools to market. We press them into the marketplace. And one of the ways we do that is with GovBrief. We talked about this. Look at all these briefings we got. We have charter transportation logistics, FSSI, strategic sourcing, contract management, facilities management, medical labs, energy savings, contract vehicles, BAA compliance, another one on construction management. Bunch of things happen in there. Industry briefings that are happening that can help you get to where you want to go with 8A, saving your GSA. And you can tell that anything that you do that costs money, I can tell you, we apply that if you want to expand your services at isifederal.com. You can check it out there. isifederal.com, 8889-GET-ISI is how you can get right in touch with us. Quick Fuse, if you have a GSA schedule, you can use it. If you don't, you can't. Quick Fuse, QUIKFUSE.com. This will help you from here on out through the end of September. This will help you make sure you don't miss opportunities. It'll help you make sure that all the information is assembled to you and delivered to you. It is a cool tool. It's $89 a month. Drop in the bucket if you can win anything at all. And in fact, there's a 500%. If you don't sell 500% more than you spend in a given year, we're refunding all your money, because if you're paying attention, you're gonna find stuff that you weren't gonna find. You can get ISI Federal on YouTube, LinkedIn. Connect with me. If you search ISI Federal, you cannot miss me. I'm all over the place, all one word, ISI Federal. And our next session is July 9th, 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Chris always corrects me because it's not EST or Standard Time. It's Eastern Daylight Time right now. So with that, I'm going to let everybody go. We'll see you next month. Thanks for joining us. There's my contact information. We'll leave that there. If anybody has any additional questions, shoot them to me. Call me. Let's get this sucker rolling. You're going to hear from my team, because now's the time to move. And we appreciate you guys being here. Again, Rafael, who just up and disappeared a couple of minutes ago. But thanks, Rafael. You're always the greatest. And I'll see you in Philadelphia next week. And if you're in Philadelphia and you want to see us, we're going to be there and we're going to be talking about doing business with the government, and it's going to be live. We've got several live events that are going to be coming up this year that we're going to let everybody know about as well. Greg, always great. Thanks, man. You're awesome.
Thank you very much.
And I'm coming down there next week.
I'll be here.
So I might even be able to swing by. I'm down in Miami, but I'll swing by. I'm down there to support Raphael and with a client. So thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time.